also showing?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I can start running. All right. So,
please.
good afternoon to everyone, and it's a pleasure to be presenting to us. And as you can see on my slide, I'm talking about how you leverage data analytics skills to ignite your career. So, the key thing is that I notice a lot of people when exactly what I call him Mr. Sheye, so I will keep using that. It's too late to change. So, according to what is mentioned about people always, asking about data analysis, I think the appeal is due to two things. Number one, it's a globally in demand skill. So, a lot of people doing international migration. It's one of those skills that they just always see that there's a ready market for outside of Nigeria, and also maybe for people trying to pivot within the country. And then the other thing is kind of doesn't actually require as much technical, you don't need to be a programmer. So there are those are the two things that makes it a very appealing way to move into digital technology, because you don't have to be a programmer, and then the skill, you don't have to be certified too. You don't have to, unlike medical things along the health line, or some fields where you have to be registered with the local certifying body. Data analysis, as long as you have the skill, you can be hired right here in Nigeria and be moved to another country. So I want to talk about the wrong approach I see people take to it, right? We talk about leverage. When you talk about leverage, it is something using something else as a leg up to another level. So if you look at the slide I have, I'm trying to depict that, everybody is trying to get to that crown place, where you are earning high income, globally in demand, right? I've not seen anybody who was not concerned that what they are doing, even if they are earning high income in Nigeria and they are top of their skills, people who are not, making money by cutting corners, they always feel worried if they see that the skill that they have is going out of tune with what is globally happening, that if they leave Nigeria, they're like useless skill wise in other countries, maybe because what they are using is out of date, the technology, the approach, and all. So everybody wants to be globally in demand. That I know. Maybe not everybody is thinking high income. You might be lucky that your income is high enough, and or maybe you are that contact person. But still, again, it's a nice thing to use as the crown, as where everybody would like to be. But what I notice is some people, they think of it as like, if I'm moving into digital technology, if I'm moving into whatever space that I think will get me these, I need to start afresh. Like, I need to leave whatever it is I'm doing, whatever skills I have, and start from 101. If it's programming, if it's agile methodology, professional uh, consulting, or whatever space you are moving into in that uh, project management area, people always feel like I need to start from scratch. I need to like forget about whatever I have now and start from scratch. I have good news for you. The good news is, not only is it that you don't have to do that, I also think it's the wrong way to go about doing. As long as data analysis is concerned, I don't know about other fields, but if you are trying to get into data analytics, or you are interested in using that to achieve this crown stage, then you don't have to let go of whatever you know, right? So what's that right strategy? The right strategy is just so that you can get the two side by side. I've put them on one slide. Maybe I should make my PDF presentation. Kind of like PDF sometimes, because I don't want to have to worry about animation. In my PowerPoint now, I have to be careful the animations are aligned so that it doesn't come up wrongly. But see, this is you, right? We want to get to that place where you're able to move from here to any country, and you get even a better job. Why? Because of pay grades. You will get the kind of job that you have qualification for, not that you'll have to go and start your life all over, because your skills, what you have, is not globally in demand. And then number two, everybody always wants to be, you want to relatively be getting a good pay, right? So high income is relative, but still nobody says they don't want it. So are you going to ditch everything and start data analysis from scratch. You can say I put an X around it. That's not the right way. If you are, as I'm talking to you, if you're asking me, I'm going to tell you emphatically that no, don't do that. Why? Two reasons. Number one is that you make the journey harder for yourself. You're going to be competing with people who just come out of school, of university, new graduates, right? If you're hiring someone as entry level, think about it. Are you going to hire someone who is maybe 30 something, 40 something, who, you even think he has more responsibility than you, and you're worried that whatever you're paying him is not going to be enough, he's not going to be able to learn fast. There's so many negative things that begin to come up in the mind of an employer when they are hiring for an entry role that will make you, who already have 10 years or 15 years work experience, like a burden compared to someone who has 0 years of experience, is just having that hunger and is willing to do anything that the employer says, not like do it in a bad way, but I mean, that's the way the employer is going to look at it. So the moment you begin to say, oh, I'm ready to start afresh, I'm going to go back and do 101 and let go of what I've known, you are making the journey much more difficult for yourself, data analysis wise. I'm not talking about any other field. What's the right approach? What's the approach I see people take, the approach I took, the approach I repeatedly advise people to take, and I've seen some successes, is whatever you are right now, whether you're a security expert. When I say security, not even IT security, like physical security, like you're a CSO, chief security officer kind of person, right? Or you are a logistics person. You are not a back office logistics person. You are on field. You are the one monitoring guys on the field. You are always on the move. You seldom use computer. No matter what you do, and that's the extreme case. Most of us are working in fields that there's a kind of uh, office backend, some reporting, some interaction with PC day in, day out. So I'm just saying, no matter what you do, you take that your domain knowledge, you take your current expertise, you take them as an asset that you add data analysis skills to, and then you go into that new job opportunity, or there are some niches, that's what we call them. There are some niche that is what they are looking for. So let's talk about, I'm a manager at ShopRite or at any of all these big malls, right? I'm much more doing a lot of on the ground stuff because I need to make sure no fraud. I need to ensure suppliers deliver on time. I need to intervene in some issues that happen on the store floor. So I'm not a computer person. I'm not like sitting behind a computer and typing stuffs and all, right? And I want to move into these in-demand skills. I want to go into the digital technology space, right? With data analysis, all you need to do is to reposition yourself as an analyst. You won't even be a junior analyst, you'll be a senior analyst for a retail industry. So if you go apply to maybe some UK retail stores, or you go apply to some international retail stores who maybe have presence in Nigeria, because it's not all retail stores that will have that role. That's why I'm saying you have to position yourself now for these new kind of jobs that combine your domain knowledge with data analysis. So those kind of roles are in large organizations, and most foreign organizations have it because for them, the in Nigeria, we can be very costing cautious, that we will cut some jobs out just so that we cut the cost. So that's one example. Take, for instance, what's the common one? I see people who say, I'm a banker. I Nothing I do in the bank relates to data analysis seriously. Maybe I'm more of an account manager, I'm a customer service person. But then I've heard these data analysis skills are in demand. I'm trying to position myself for a role that can even be outside of the country. How can I? So again, the same thing. That's your banking knowledge, right? You don't have to discard it and start going to compete with 21, 22-year-old people to get entry level job. Not only will you be at a disadvantage, even if you say you want to intern. I would rather hire an intern, no pay. I would rather hire an intern that I'm not paying, that is 21, 22, than someone that is 35. Because it's just natural, I will feel sad that I'm not paying you. There's so many uneasiness that come with that decision compared to just hiring someone straight out of school and justify that he's learning, is is paying the price. You two did it when you were. So I'm trying to let you know that not only is it that you starting afresh is the wrong way, it will make your journey much more difficult. So take whatever look for people in that field that have matched it with data analysis, and then find what role they call it. If you don't know what the role is, most of the time there's a change in role. So if for those in I've talked about retail. You see analyst roles. Anytime you see analyst roles, it's always involving data analysis. If I used to work in what's other common ones I've seen people talk about, I've even seen people in project management too who maybe want to move into data analysis. Let's talk about the much more common HR. So I'm an HR person. I want to move into data analysis skills. There's HR analytics. The moment you have data analytics with uh, HR domain knowledge, you become an HR analytics professional, and then that becomes your niche, and there's no competition. No fresh graduate can come and compete with you because you have the domain knowledge. Even if the data analysis you know how to do is 1 plus 1, the grammar the way you're explaining it is talking straight to the needs of the company. A fresh graduate will be talking about 1 plus 1 in an abstract way. You're going to be talking it about manpower planning, talking it about leave analysis, talking about it in attrition rate, things that the person is going to the company is going to no longer look at you as someone who is learning data analysis. They're looking at someone who has matched. Maybe it's just 2 months data analysis skills that you have. All your data analysis learning started, maybe 2 months ago. You see that you are no longer, they don't think of you as 1 year experience. They think of you as that 10 years experience you have in HR. That's what they still look at you as. So point I'm trying to emphasize here is always find a way to combine what you are right now with the data analysis skills you want to get. And oh boy, your journey is going to be a lot easier. So and then let's talk about the right markets. All right, I am XYZ, and I might be also a fresh graduate. It's just that pivoting means you are doing something and you want to pivot. So that's why I'm doing this as focusing on people who are already in a field and they want to pivot into digital, tech, and have all these high paying in demand jobs. So how can you begin to tap into the job space, right? You can, the easiest one is you can begin to freelance. What do I mean by freelance? The speaker before me, trying to remember his name, Mr. Toke, I think I got it. I don't know if I got it correctly, but he mentioned that when he
Tokumbo.
was doing it, okay,
Tokumbo.
yes. So Mr. Tokumbo mentioned that while he was working full time as an engineer, right, and he was learning project management, he was also trying to get projects on the side to do so that he can begin to have a portfolio, and I'm sure he's probably even going to be charging for some of the projects. So you are getting both, you know, portfolio, work experience in that domain, and at the same time some income, so that even when you decide that you're going to jump the ship fully, leave whatever you're pivoting from and go, head, shoulder, legs, all of you dipped into the new field, right? You are not like jumping from like a 3-story building all the way down. What have you done? You've already been climbing down stairs gradually because you've been feeling yourself through the process. You probably will reach out to some of the clients you'll be freelancing to and start for them full time. So there's the full time. Freelancing can guide you into that. And for people like me who what I chose to do was to be a consultant. I was also, if you see my profile, I did BNG in electrical electronics. I started my career first as a telecoms engineer. I was a radio access engineer, base station subsystem engineer, doing cutover for Etisalat sites across Southwest and the Southeast. So I was more like a field engineer to some extent, a mixture of, I was doing nothing data analysis. Then, okay, I moved to Airtel. Then I was doing data analysis with Airtel as a job role called MIS Business Analyst. But the key thing I even want to bring out of it is when I decided to go fully into data analysis, I chose to do to be a consultant. And for me, it was just I just I love Excel that time. So I wanted to keep doing Excel. And I saw that people who do Excel fully, they who enjoy it were consultant. People who do it fully in companies is either you will not get promoted because at some point you should be the one supervising those who should do them. You start making decisions and doing less of the grunt work. But I loved the grunt work part, so I decided to go into consulting so that I can keep doing the grunt work without thinking of it. I'm going to hit a promotion ceiling. So different reasons. Some other people, it's because they like the flexibility to work for different clients. You do one project to move to another one. So what I'm trying to say is that's another pathway. You can decide to be a consultant. There's no MSc for consulting or BSc for consulting you have to get before you become a consultant. All you need to do is just, say you're a consultant and you're a consultant. It's one of those miracle things. You just say it and you are hit. Another one is you can be a trainer. Some people like to teach. Most people keep their full-time job. This is what I see them do. So they do freelance projects, and also by the time you start doing freelance, some people will call you and it is training they want, not a project. They want you to come and upskill some people. Maybe they are some of their new hires or train. So you can also be a trainer, right? And training, if you see in all these things, there's global, there's local. You can train all what I'm saying. You can do them globally and locally. I'm going to tell you some of my own personal secrets. Then also, you can decide to build products. I build templates. Product might be difficult with data analysis, but if you are in some other tech space, if you're into programming, you can build products. Most of the software most of us buy, I buy a lot of software. Sometimes it's by people who are working part-time. That's not their day job. They build that thing on the side and they're selling it. You can be an hobbyist, a hobbyist. Some people, they just the same way you see most of the people at church in the choir, they are doing this as on the side and they enjoy it. They will cancel things at work so that they will meet practice, and that's how much they enjoy it. And some people are able to also maybe go play for another church or event and get money from it, but that's another thing. You can be a coach. And all what I'm saying is that there are so many ways to begin to earn money from it. Don't always think it's only one way, full time. I'm a consultant and sometimes I earn more than people doing full time. When I was doing freelancer, I know people who are doing freelancing and they earn more than people doing full time. I know people who are hobbyists, but hobbyists most of the time maybe they've retired or they just don't want to do it full time is why they're doing hobbies. Coach and trainers and all of that. Okay, so I have 3 more minutes. So the other thing I need to let you know is for us, unfortunately, our environment affects us a lot. If you have been paid $500 5 years ago, you will be among the low earning people among your friends, kind of. That same money now is not the same. Let me even say, if you have been paid $1,000 in 2012, $1,000, because I was in that kind of situation in 2012, 2011, I was being paid by Airtel in USD, and it was around that amount. And I was complaining because it was like 120 something, 130 something thousand, or was it? It wasn't up to 150. Now, the money looks big now, even though that's like 10 years ago. Why? Because that's almost 700K now. So sometimes you want to key into those jobs where the earning is in a relatively high amount. And unfortunately, Naira doesn't give us that anymore. So you want to, and Nigeria is crowded, I tell you. When you get applications as an employer for jobs, you will see people with PhD, 20 years experience apply for roles that, by pay and everything, it should be for people with 2 years experience because there's so many of us, the opportunities are not so much. So you want to leave a crowded environment to one where, you start feeling more at ease and you sweat less for the same result. So think of it, for most of us, it is getting a job that either with an international company or where your pay is not, they are not using Nigerian pay scale to calculate your pay. Whether you're a coach or a trainer, a consultant, is the same thing, not just full-time job. So, like people say, I stole this thing from this place. So that's why I put the link. Some basketballers that are known in America, and they just move to Europe and they become superstar. Why? Because less competition, so it's a strategy. And to wrap it up, this is me, and I'm just saying this not to feel big, but just to show you evidence that, and actually all this money goes to a lot of expense because I also work as a company. So, but if I know people that all of this goes into there, they're not paying anything. And what am I trying to say? You can work on platforms like this. This one I'm showing is from one of the platforms, and you are getting paid that $85 per hour that I put. No Nigerian company pays for my service $85 per hour. The conversation it doesn't end there. They will just like I'm in tune with reality, out of tune with reality is what they will summarize, or maybe I don't want to work for them. Nobody ever agrees to that, but that money is not unheard of on all these other platforms, and that's why I'm able to earn it without so much issue, right? And you just make sure you put yourself up on all these platforms, right? Forget about Nigeria in terms of the way people will perceive you. Pick the jobs you can do, right? And I bet you they will pay you whatever you're asking because they are used to paying that kind of money. And that's just it. That's all you need. It might be tough to get the first one, but you just make sure you have a presence there. When you get the first one, more we keep rolling in. And that's the end of my session. So please make sure that you don't start from ground zero. Take what you have now, add data analysis as the leverage to help you get to that place. Then position yourself in areas where the competitions are less for you to get the kind of money and whatever opportunity you want. And I'm presenting these platforms as one that I have used that you can easily use too. So thank you very, very much. So Mr. Shaya, over to you, sir. Maybe I'll just leave this slide up.